Welcome to another exciting edition of Near Mint Comic Radio, your local comic shop shrunk down, gamma irradiated, sworn to protect the world that fears and hates it, and aired live-ish every week only on the Non-Productive Network, the only place that would have us. I'm your host, Frank, and you know the rest of these jerks. It's Pete and James and John Trouble of Back Issue Magazine's Tomorrow Publishing, whatever.
Thank you for that half-assed intro, Frank.
Speaking of half-ass, on Near Mint we review comics from best stores. That's Mint, Near Mint, Good Fare, and Poor to You newbies. And yes, we are going to be reviewing Crisis on Infinite Earths 1985. We're doing it issue by issue. At the end of this, we're going to review it. We're almost at the halfway point. We're at issue 5 this week.
Yep.
And boy, oh boy, am I excited to get into this, because we have been lingering on the death of this character for like 2.5 issues. It feels like Monitor was on life support for quite a while.
Yeah.
Hey, spoiler alert, we're going to be spoiling everything up until issue 5. Yeah. For this
we're totally
1980s comic.
Before we dive into the plot of issue 5, can I talk a little about the cover of this issue?
Please.
With all the,
it's a great one.
It is a great one. It's one of the it's one of the, I think, the classic covers of this series, and it's got an interesting backstory behind it, because George Perez's wife was by this point becoming a little concerned that he was like overworking himself, and she said, hey, can you take it easy with him on this cover and just maybe have him do like a few Earths exploding and then a couple heads? And then George Perez sat down to draw the cover, and he was like, well, which characters should I do? And he couldn't decide, so he just put them all in with just a dividing line between Earths 1 and 2.
That is how you listen
middle.
to your wife. You just barely do it.
I mean, the man has a sickness where he has to just draw every single character at all times, but thank God he does, because he does it so beautifully.
I'm pretty sure there's a couple obscure Marvel characters in there, too.
Not on the cover, no.
Isn't that the Shroud?
Wait,
where?
Just above the right Earth.
This guy?
Yeah.
Oh, is there really
that's
a
the
right
Spectre.
Earth?
It's the Spectre between Johnny Quick and Psycho Pirate.
I don't think we're going to start opening up the door on how similar certain characters are across comic book universes. But hell, there are a lot on this cover. We're going to go through each one right now. And no, we're not doing that. It's not that kind of review.
Quiz me. I could probably do it.
Oh, let's keep going.
Who's that one?
Yeah.
Okay. Let's see. Upper left-hand corner, we got Red Tornado, then the Scalp Hunter, then Wildfire, then Halo from the Outsiders, the Earth 1 Flash, the Earth 2 Flash, Johnny Thunder, the female one, Amazing Man, Cheetah. I believe that's probably Solomon Grundy. Let's see. That's Dawnstar, then Martian Manhunter, Batman, Firestorm, Earth 1 and Earth 2 Superman, Psycho Pirate, Spectre, Johnny Quick, Firebrand, Sergeant Rock, Dr. Light.
Wait, are you skipping the ones behind them?
Yes, I am. Shut up. And I don't know whose hair that is. I'm going to guess probably Commandy. The L, that's lead from the Metal Men. Then we got the two Hawkmen.
L, that's lead from the...
It is, yeah. He got the chemical symbol for lead on his forehead. The Rag Doll from the hair. He has the Raggedy Andy hair. We got Star Spangled Kid, Fury, Dr. Fate. Then it looks like the Ultra Humanite, because he was an ape guy. Who is this next?
I don't even see that. Where did you see
next to Dr. Fate?
It helps if you have the print version.
I'm looking at a print copy.
Okay.
So
our digital
can't
versions cut off a little
quite tell
bit.
who that is next to Blue Devil. So I'm going to take a mulligan on that one.
That's Marvel Boy.
Okay. Blue Devil. Then we got both the Earth 1 and Earth 2 Wonder Woman. Obsidian, the Huntress. Looks like Wildcat next to her. Then Supergirl with her hideous headband. Phantom Stranger. Cyborg. Who are these guys with the chin? That's the Atom, Earth 1 and Earth 2 Atom. I recognize the mouth from the Sandman. We got the Shining Knight. We got Liberty Bell. Next row, we got Swamp Thing. Dr. Polaris. Red Star, also known as Starfire. The Joker. Earth 1 and Earth 2 Green Lantern. Nuxlin. Or Nuxlin. I never knew how to pronounce his name. He's called Atom Smasher now. Tsunami. The Guardian. Saurion the Sorcerer. Let's see. That's Chameleon Boy with the antenna. Solivar, I'm going to guess.
I'm good. Gorilla.
Yes. You got to have a gorilla in there. Jonah Hex. Starfire. Earth 1 and Earth 2 Green Arrow. Looks like the adult Robin. Power Girl. Northwind from the Infinity Incorporated. Johnny Thunder's Thunderbolt. Some lady can't quite tell, but that's Tarantula above her. I didn't mention him before. Some person with goggles. I can't quite tell. Killer Frost. Who is next to Killer Frost?
Regular. It looks little. Wait, that's not.
What's going on with his hair? I can't.
Yeah, there's a little bit of a Adolf swoosh.
He's got weird hair, but yeah, I'm gonna take a mulligan on that one. Next to him. I'm gonna guess that's Geoforce.
These are much harder to make.
Yeah, because I mean we're only seeing them from the eyes up.
It doesn't matter. I am so impressed right now.
We got. I'm gonna guess from the hair that's Jade. Then Our Man, the Silver Scarab, and that's definitely Plastic Man with the goggles.
Yep, that little swirl of hair. Wow.
I've wasted my life.
Yes.
That was impressive.
Oh, I should hit record.
Oh,
no! Take it easy.
I hate you so much.
Wow, I've never seen actual anger in someone's voice. Okay, so yeah, anyways, as I was saying, Monitor's dead.
Yeah.
We deal a little bit with the aftermath of this, of Monitor planning his own death because he knew it was inevitable. There's a lot of high drama at the start of this story. I don't know how much of this landed for me. There's so much going on in such a short period of time. Mm-hmm. I can't, I just met Harbinger. I was only just told she owes her life to Monitor, and for the most part, I've only seen Monitor as a bad guy up until this, where he's just like an annoying PTA leader. Like he's just gathering everyone together and saying, "No, we really need to get everyone here first before we discuss our plan.
Everyone needs to do the sign-up sheet.
Please,
okay.
I just want to tell you,
who's going to guard the tuning fork?
There's
going to
be a big sale later on. We got to think about all the underprivileged Earths.
Adam, can I count on you to bring the casserole? Can you bring the casserole?
Listen, I know you people have some history, but we have to put that aside right now. We have to think for the children's. So, yeah,
Where's Superman? No, not that Superman. The other Superman.
Yeah.
Oh, God. So, yeah, there's a lot of... Oh, okay, James, yes, hand up asking a question like it's class.
I kind of like this whole opening melodrama. Is it weird? I guess
Yes.
because I get I'm weird, but I don't know, because these are kind of all the characters that I feel like I've just met here in this story. I feel like I'm invested in them differently than I am with all these other characters who I kind of expect things out of because of my weird history with DC Comics being from like 20 years later and everything. Yeah. And, it's just... I feel like these characters are acting the way I expect them to because
that's fair. They're certainly on brand. Yeah, Pariah is exactly who you've known Pariah to
absolutely.
be.
He is whining. He is on brand.
I'm down with this soap opera kind of melodrama intro thing. Also, thank God the Monitor is dead. Like you said, we're finally getting to that.
Yeah. Well, so it's interesting. This is where we effectively discover that part of the Monitor's Xanatos gambit, effectively, is that he knew that by dying in this particular way, his energies can be used to protect all the remaining Earths.
Right.
And, that's cool. But we also get to play a little bit with the remaining Earths occupying the same time in space and, dinosaurs showing up in the middle of Central Park or what have you.
And also we suddenly have Alexander Luthor who's aged to adulthood.
He's got the glow up.
He's got the glow up. He looks like kind of like Christopher Adkins in the Blue Lagoon in a gold.
Is that topical? Blue Lagoon was 82, I want to say?
Somewhere I wanted to say 80, but it could be 82.
Maybe.
Somewhere in the early 80s.
Yeah, so maybe but, still relevant.
I'm also definitely going to throw out here, I am most invested, I think, in Alexander Luthor. I think he's definitely the thing that's keeping me coming back to this.
Really?
Yeah, I don't know. It was because... he was cool, that cool kind of like half matter person, and I really liked the corny story of them sending him off like they did Superman. I don't know. Everything with Alexander Luthor is hitting good for me.
I'm totally invested in where he got that gold armor.
That's true, too.
Just appeared.
Monitor has a lot of cool stuff in his swinging back.
He's got a little boutique on the satellite. He went around. He got a gift card from the Monitor and
go to the shops.
Here, go to the shops. Get yourself some gold armor and a perm.
Yes,
and,
yes. Get yourself gold armor and a perm.
Right.
If you're going to save the universe,
you gotta look
you
good.
need a perm.
You gotta look good.
You need a perm that is 10 years out of date.
Yeah, yeah.
We need like 6 seasons of the Brady Bunch perm here.
Oh God, there's so many choices made here.
Whatever you do, don't go for the makeover. Don't ask them for the pariah eyeshadow.
No, that's
no.
not.
And don't get the purple hair dye, because that's pariah's thing.
So, and the other side of this equation is in the antimatter universe, or I don't even know if we know where that is, in this big black void.
Yeah.
The Flash is dealing with Psycho Pirate, the whiniest of villains.
Yeah.
Oh, my Lord.
That's
I
only
can't
if we
take
assume the pariah isn't a villain.
True. You're
Well,
right.
he's perceived to be a villain by certain people. Like Lady Quark has her problems with Pariah, but
Yeah.
This is where my money is on. I believe I'm still a Flash guy. I know he's important to this crisis, or I've kind of gathered through osmosis over the years that he's very vital to crisis. So I want to see what he does in all this, and him in that little inky void, much more interesting than whatever the hell's going on with Red Tornado, which I still feels like it's just more stuff being thrown against the wall to see what sticks.
I was
Yeah.
literally going to ask what is going on with Red Tornado because I am lost.
So far, I don't think
I believe this is the
anything.
first time he's shown up.
So then how is he in that void? What?
well, supposedly the Anti-Monitor captured the Red Tornado because he was one of the few people who could move through the Earths unaided, which
I don't think they've ever established that.
No,
That's
I
my
don't think that
question.
had
Yeah.
been established. And he also says the Flash can do it, and it's like, well, no, the Flash always needed something like the cosmic treadmill to do it, but
but
maybe at some point he could.
Yeah, I think maybe at that point he was able to do it. It started off with the treadmill, but I think maybe, I mean, he was, of course, living in the future, but of his own Earth.
Yeah,
I don't know. It's-
because he was like in the 30th century, a few years before the Legion of Superheroes, because they later
Well,
retroactively established that the Tornado twins were actually his biological children and not his descendants.
I feel like the Flash sometimes kind of like can happen into, just traveling between times and worlds. So I get it. I get it.
I mean, vibration is a very big thing with the Flash. So yeah, maybe he could do that.
The Anti-Monitor knows that he can do it. The
Yeah.
Flash doesn't know he can do it.
That's certainly all
That
the
makes sense.
Maybe that's it. Maybe he has the
we are
potential.
moving, but this came from why Red Tornado.
That's what I wanna know.
And it feels like this is. I think I said this early on in this review arc on Near Mint, that with Secret Wars, there's a sort of an honesty to it where they're like, "Here's a bunch of toys we got to move. You put them together somehow. I don't know how you do it. You do it. Put them together. I don't give a crap how."
Okay, why is this person Italian?
Because the '80s toy companies all Italians.
Okay,
disgusting. It's really
All right.
Just it's nepotism. It's awful. Anyways, but here it's like it feels almost like mandate from corporate. Like we got to move Red Tornado. He's going to be a big thing for us. But I don't know.
I don't think that sentence has ever been said before.
Yeah, I don't-
think anyone has ever said the Red Tornado is going to be big for us.
know.
So let's
I
say
like
some
Red Tornado.
Let's say some more fun things. Really, when we see worlds collide in the next, and this is why I picked up comics as a kid.
Yeah.
To see dinosaurs running around the city, the Empire State Building probably in the background, biplanes with jets, and
I'm
yeah.
terrified that
Spaceships.
Tyrannosaurus is going to eat that biplane.
Yeah, and it's all good. But also, the number of reporters and the different news agencies that haunted DC Comics at this time. There is Lana Lang from WGBS
Right.
TV. I believe Lois shows up.
She
in a
also
little
works
bit,
for
yeah.
WGBS,
Yep.
yes.
There are...
Which was the outfit that bought the Daily Planet. When in the 1970s they decided to make Clark Kent a newscaster instead of a print reporter.
Yeah, which kind of comes up a little bit in the Superman movies towards the end. I believe in Superman 4, right? There's a TV studio
Sort
kind
of like basically when the first Superman movie decided to just stick with the classic setup of Clark Kent working for the Daily Planet, that was kind of the death knell of Clark being a television reporter. Also, it didn't make as much sense.
But it doesn't work as well with the whole secret identity thing.
Exactly.
Constantly being on camera.
Exactly.
There's
A
Lois.
topic that's about to be explored in DC Comics.
Again?
Yeah.
Superman's going to be revealing his identity publicly.
Again.
Don't remind me what's
So,
currently happening at DC. I don't want to be that depressed.
They're doing on-the-street interviews with people from various time periods. I believe we have one more reporter. There is a cameo in this. Peter Parker shows up, snapping
Yes.
pictures in the background.
Where? Where is he?
Let's see if I can
what
give you an
page is
actual
that
page
on?
number.
Give me a second, and I can find him.
He's on page 14.
Yeah. All right, in the back shop.
Oh, yep, there he is. I see him.
Yeah, he's right between Superman and Lois Lane.
But who's the Indian?
I think that's a character named Firehair.
Of course it is.
Awful.
I didn't name him.
Just all
I didn't
the
name
way
him,
terrible.
but yeah.
So yeah,
They liked having the Caucasian Indians.
I guess it's better than calling him Red Man.
Sure. There's a lot of horrible things in the comics at this time, and probably on this podcast. But there are, like, this is one of those. I guess this is. I feel like comedy, right? You're on the street interviews with people from various times. You've got a caveman chewing a mic.
Yeah.
That's all part of the fun.
I like the alien that confuses Lois Lane and Lana Lang.
Yeah.
He calls her Lois Lang.
Lang.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't. You know what? I just assumed it was another reporter character. Another. They run out of alliterations.
Another character with two.
By the
Ls.
way, there is a fan theory that caveman was not an Earth caveman, but he was from the planet Bismol, which is the planet that Matter Eater Lad is from.
Oh, is that
because
why?
Like apparently a real caveman wouldn't have the
ability
jaw
to eat a
strength
microphone.
to eat a microphone.
Oh, I'm so glad somebody put that theory together.
Someone thought of that. Yes.
Wow. Yeah, and there's also another gathering of even more DC heroes. I think all heroes this time. Maybe there were.
Yeah, this is basically everybody. Can we talk about this double page splash?
Yeah, definitely.
This is first of all, like the art on this issue takes, in my opinion, a quantum leap forward because we brought in Jerry Ordway as the inker. Who, like the first few issues were done by Dick Giordano, and I think the majority of it by Mike DiCarlo, because Dick Giordano was busy running DC Comics at the time, and he only had so much time in the day to ink these pages. And this is a very big, important project, so they wanted to make sure they were not missing any deadlines on it. So they brought in Jerry Ordway with the 5th issue, and he finished out the rest of the series. This splash page of everybody and their brother, they sent Jerry Ordway these 2 pages last because they didn't want to scare him off on his first issue. So they waited until he had done everything else, and then they sent him those 2 pages, which I love that story.
I think I totally noticed. I don't know. I'm liking the art a little bit more the later on we get.
It's cleaner. Yeah,
it feels
It's
a little
cleaner.
more.
It's a little slicker. I mean, Jerry Ordway, he and Braz, they're just a great art team. They mesh really well together. And yeah, I think it really ups the package.
You could clearly go through that crowd and identify. We're not going to do it. Don't worry about it. You could identify each one of these characters.
Oh yeah,
Oh, there's
definitely.
Waldo.
Yeah.
And
I mean, this was before Where's Waldo, I think, but it is very much that effect. But I mean, George Perez was always so good at doing these because even in something like this, he still allows a bit of negative space around the various characters, so you can easily identify.
Right.
And he has them interacting in interesting ways. It's like, oh, well, this person's injured and they're on the floor, and this one's confused, but this person's next to him, and like Dawnstar just got injured, and Superman's carrying her, and Plastic Man and Elongated Man and Mercury from the Metal Men are stretching around.
I like the guys pointing outside. I also like that the soldiers are clearly more huddled together because they know each other as compared to like a lot of the other superheroes who don't.
Or mingling. But we do have another story beat that we have hit 1,000 times, which is someone in Monitor's base is saying, "No, really, listen, things are bad." In this case, we're recruiting yet another gang of heroes to try to do something about the end of the world.
I gotta ask. Wait, there's a squad of scuba divers down at the bottom.
Those are
those
Sea
the
Devils.
Sea
Those
Devils?
are the
Yes!
Sea Devils. Yes.
I can't believe I correctly identified them.
Because DC had like all these squads of 4 people who were like sort of, they were like proto Fantastic Fours.
Yeah.
Like we had the Challengers of the Unknown, we had the Sea Devils, we had Rip Hunter, and we had Cave Carson, and they all had like different environments that they went to, and it was always like the sort of same dynamic. You had the scientist guy, the strong guy, the girl, and
The other.
like maybe like a young kid or something. That was like the formula, and there were
hothead.
all those different features. So,
What do we think about us revisiting this whole? Let's bring in even more heroes at this point. Anyone frustrated?
I am frustrated. And particularly because
I had a
I'm
feeling.
not as familiar with a lot of the big non-main DC characters. and particularly some of the iterations of these characters at this time. So I'm having a hard time keeping track of who's who.
I think it might have been easier at the time because there was that series, Who's Who, that was coming out in conjunction with Crisis. I believe Crisis 1 and Who's Who #1 debuted the same month. Mm-hmm. And so the nice thing about if you came across a character in Crisis and you were like, oh, who's that person? What's their deal? You could look at Who's Who and then find out what their basic deal was. So, yeah.
I appreciate it because it was at this point where this is one of the reasons why Crisis on Infinite Earth stands out head and shoulders above any other Crisis that has come along since, or any other like cross universe or what have you promotional event at a comic company. It's because this really does make a big deliberate attempt to at least touch on almost everyone.
Yeah.
Everyone gets some real estate on this page. And while, yeah, a lot of this is like the red skies phenomenon of when you question whether or not that even matters, that I think is legit. At least your faves will be here. And if you got that if you had that as a poster, which you wouldn't have as a kid at the time, you probably would have just had the comic spread open. It is a Where's Waldo game, and I appreciate that.
Yeah.
I also appreciate dinosaurs, T-Rex with a big horn in the middle of its nose, standing completely upright, because yes, that's how dinosaurs are supposed to walk.
Well, in the 80s, we thought that.
Yeah, that's it. We believe that was true. For the most part, I don't know. Is there any other call-outs that people want to spend attention on? Is it the... are we interested in actually talking about Red Tornado and what he may or may not have done in this? Honestly, I'm still kind of clueless about it. I think he somehow is participating in nature unfolding and destroying the world, but you'd think that the negative energy field would have done that already.
Why can the emotion pirate affect Red Tornado? Because he's a robot.
I'm not 100% sure Psycho Pirate did.
Okay, because I'm not 100% sure he did either.
Maybe the villain who's yet to be named
at this point
in this issue may have been the one who did that.
Okay, all right.
Yeah. I'm telling you, this book, I mean, it's nice seeing all these magical characters show up.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's true, too. They had the whole page that was all the magic people.
It starts with, I think, Dr. Fate appears, and then it's a bunch of magic heroes. There's Zatanna is there, which I have not read her spell backwards. What is she casting?
Let's see. She's saying winds cease to be.
Ah, well, that's pretty on the money.
That is the annoying thing about Zatanna is you have to read all of her spells backwards to really get what she's doing.
I actually enjoy that.
Cool. Yeah,
I did enjoy that.
I think I used to like that, and now I just find it annoying.
Is this Mandrake? Who are these other wizards?
Yeah, who's the red cape and the
Thunderbolt?
That's Sargon the Sorcerer.
Okay.
Most everybody refers to themselves by name at one point, or somebody's
there.
like. I mean, it's like if we were undergoing crisis, I'd be like, Frank, why don't you get James and Peter over here so that we can figure this out? Or else John Trumbull, will vow that. I mean, it's very. Yeah, it's very artificial, but I think it's necessary with a cast this huge, you know?
Definitely.
I think it's definitely important. And then there's the inexplicableness that pretty much is the story beat that carries us through, which is the retirement and possibly the crushing of Wildcat.
Mm-hmm.
So Wildcat, character, famed boxer, street-level superhero.
He was the heavyweight champion of the world.
Trainer of several heroes at this point, I think, in DC Comics, or at least inspiration to many of them.
Yeah.
Basically, Reuben the Hurricane Carter in a cat suit.
Right. And a full cat suit, like notches below furry suit, like with the big whiskers and everything.
I'm still not entirely sure where his eyes are supposed to be.
Yeah, he is doing battle, and basically we are encountering his family, and we're basically setting up the groundwork that will be the retirement of the Wildcat comic character and the replacement with Wildcat 2, or his replacement.
Now, at this point, he was on the Justice Society, right?
Right.
Yeah.
And he was really old because he went back to the 40s, and most of the Justice Society, so they were like in their 60s. by this point.
I don't know if anyone can tell. Trumbull, I don't know if you can tell me about this. Was the release of Wildcat, is that going to be like the new Wildcat? Was that a big deal at the time? Did she even get her own comic?
She did not get her own comic. She was...
we are going a little ahead. I'm sorry.
She
we
was
slipping
featured...
to issue 6.
Yeah, she was featured in a book called Infinity Incorporated, which was all about the sons and daughters of the Justice Society, who were... It was kind of like the Earth 2 Teen Titans, more or less. So, yeah, it was a bunch of kids in their early 20s, and some of them were reminiscent of heroes of the JSA, and they were like the next generation of heroes from Earth 2.
Bunch of legacy characters.
Yeah. So and
As
also
you'll be
like
painfully aware soon.
like one of the things that I think Marv Wolfman wanted to do in particular was he realized that DC was more or less very lily white, and they wanted to diversify their character line a bit more. So they said, well, hey, why don't we get rid of Wildcat, who's like this older white male, and we'll have a Latina woman assume the mantle of that, and then we're a little more diverse. And that was the same sort of thinking going on with the Japanese Dr. Light. So
I don't understand it. I mean, they were so inclusive, though. Apache Chief, Samurai, Black Lightning.
well, I mean, Black Lightning, they were making a real effort in inclusion.
Yeah, I would have put Black Lightning in there.
yeah.
But the rest of
I mean, that was a real sincere attempt at inclusion from Tony Isabella in the 70s.
Plus, he was a character that didn't have his name. Well, I guess. All right, we'll talk about that later.
That was what you did then.
Yeah.
I mean...
So
Yeah.
Wildcat gets crippled. There will be consequences of that eventually, and more importantly, we're building up to the ultimate reveal. The satellite that the Monitor has used to keep everyone safe while he dies to protect us all is falling apart. And in fact, falls apart moments before we get the reveal of the villain that maybe many of us knew was coming. The Monitor. Yes. The Monitor shows up. This guy with the crazy eyes and the maybe too much teeth. I don't know what that's going on in his face, the mask thing.
I think he's like a corpse. He's kind of decomposed.
Those are his lips. They're not his teeth, actually.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
I was reading up on that. I always interpreted those as his teeth. But
He's like a Rocky Skull guy.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. This guy looks cool as hell.
He is an awesome design.
It's a great splash page, right?
So,
yeah.
Now, to avoid confusion, there's a couple of things I want to ask about to you folks. I thought something like this was coming. I've seen this before. I know, obviously, I've been reading comics for a very long time, and even though I've never read this, we've teased it in earlier episodes. I wonder who's going to be Anti-Monitor. But yes, this is what we will now classically know and be referred to as the Anti-Monitor.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Pete, I know you read this for the first time. James, I know you've read this for the first time. Did you know this was coming?
I didn't know that this was coming now.
Mm-hmm.
I did not expect him to refer to himself as the Monitor.
Yeah.
Although that makes sense to me now. I mean, it's like the Dracula thing. He didn't sign his letters, Vlad the Impaler.
I think that was kind of my takeaway too. Like I knew of the Anti-Monitor as a character, and obviously when we started reading this story, I'm like, obviously this character takes place in here. But kind of like Pete, I expected him to go, I am the Anti-Monitor, and
Right.
But obviously, like it makes sense that he wouldn't do that.
I think more or less everybody just calls him the Anti-Monitor from this point on, just for clarity's sake.
Yeah.
Because he's from the antimatter universe, and
It makes sense, yeah.
he's a Monitor.
It totally
so.
makes sense. But there isn't actually, to me, there's an effect of this corpse-like individual calling himself the same name as the guy who died at the top of the issue. Actually was even more impactful than if he had referred to himself as the Anti-Monitor.
it
I
totally
was
works.
thinking about that. I was like, as a reader back in the day, what would I have thought about this? I was like, wait, is this the same dude?
Yeah, what a cliffhanger to leave things off
and,
on.
We're seeing these, and I think it's more in the next issue we talk more about, or was it in this issue we talk really about the physics of the positive and negative worlds and how they're colliding, and having, like obviously if there was a Monitor on this side, there would be a Monitor on that side.
Sure, it makes sense, comic sense.
Yeah.
The actual end of the issue.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, go on.
I was
Pete.
actually also surprised. That was not what I expected him to look like.
No.
There's an iconic look that I think shows up later,
Yeah.
which I guess is a different set of armor or something.
Yeah, George Perez, he redesigns the armor later on.
okay.
And we'll get into the reasons of that when that happens, but that doesn't happen until I think issue 8.
I'll give my artistic impressions of that one later.
Yeah, but I think
awesome.
he looks really cool on the splash page. I love those things sort of swooshing up into his mouth, whatever those are.
System
I don't know what that is. I don't know if it's supposed to be like a Darth Vader like life support thing. Maybe it is, but I mean, whatever it is, it looks really cool.
Yeah.
So.
I just imagine it delivers Kool-Aid and
it's just
mouthwash.
It's like one of those beer helmets with the straws. I'm sure that's what it is.
Yes,
On the actual end of the issue,
that's in my head canon now.
I think the actual end of the issue, we've got one more page, which visits Earth X, a world where World War II is going on just a little bit long, and characters are just a little bit ridiculous.
World War II continued on for like another 30 years beyond where it ended for us, and it was originally going to be Earth swastika. With the swastika symbol,
right? And
but Julie Schwartz, who is the editor and a Jewish man, as you might imagine, he was like, "No book of mine will have a swastika in it."
Good for him.
That's fair.
So they chopped off the ends of the swastika and they just called it Earth
An argument that would be
X.
hard to make now because the world is terrible. Anyways, you run into a bunch of these comic characters from which publishing house? I keep
Quality
Comics.
I've always
Sam.
been a huge fan of Uncle Sam and the Freedom Fighters.
Of course you would be. There's Man, Uncle Sam, Black Condor, who should not be in the book.
What do you have against Black Condor?
Lots.
Okay.
What's the?
He was raised by
Ray?
condors, and therefore he can fly.
Was it Human Ray? Who's
The Ray.
The Ray.
Just the Ray.
The human
And
bomb.
Phantom Lady. Who?
She has the power of cleavage.
Yeah. All right. See, I did not notice this. Believe it or not, I did not. I have a very weird. I did not notice it at all the first few times I read through it, and then as I'm looking through it today, I just happened to scroll, and I'm like, "What?
Yeah.
Come on,
Boobs ahoy.
there's a problem."
Phantom Lady is largely known and remembered for her costume, which quite revealing. And one of her artists in the Golden Age was a guy named Matt Baker, who was very famous for what they called good girl art, where they would draw very voluptuous ladies. So that's mainly what she's remembered for.
And what's useful is that this segment reminds us that there are other Earths other than the Earth 1 and 2 that the Monitor went to the efforts of saving, and namely Earth X and a few others that we will discuss soon. I think a pretty interesting, jam-packed issue overall, but I really cannot wait to get into the crux of it. And our next episode, we will be at the midway point. Yay! Hooray!
Hump episode. Woo!
I'm excited.
Exactly, hump episode. We hope you're excited, and thank you for listening. If you enjoyed this episode of Near Mint, please like, follow, and subscribe so you can get the latest in the podcatcher of your choice. Oh, and leave us a good review, or else we'll kill James.
What?
No, it's gonna
Little
happen.
bit.
But he'll be replaced by a Latino woman, so it's fine.
I'm okay with this.
We can only do that if we cripple James.
It's okay. I'm just the robot.
Yeah, okay.
This has been a non-productive media presentation. Executive producer Frank Hablawi. This program and many others like it on the Non-Productive Network is distributed under a Creative Commons Attribution Non-Commercial No Derivatives license. Please share it, but ask before trying to change it or sell it. For more information, visit non-productive.com.